I call David Bennett.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and it's always a pleasure to follow from that member. Although it is quite unusual that he is speaking first off in the housing debate when Phil Twyford is the housing spokesperson for the Labor Party, and it is a taxation bill, but Labor's made it into a housing debate, and it really is a signal, I think, for Phil that perhaps his position is under threat as well. So Sue Moroney's chomping at your feet. The next housing spokesperson, I'm sure, will be Sue Moroney, and that will be a reflection of Phil's great achievements in the area as the housing spokesperson for the Labor Party. But on a more serious note, the Labor Party members will talk about KiwiBuild, and they will talk about it to the blue in the face. And KiwiBuild is their flagship policy. It's the only policy that they've kept from the election that they haven't thrown out. It's the only policy that they have still said that they want to carry through. Oh, there are others, are there? Capital gains tax. So have you still kept that policy? I don't think so. Have you kept it? Maybe not. But I know they keep KiwiBuild. They believe in KiwiBuild. And let's think what KiwiBuild will look like. What will KiwiBuild actually look like? You will have streets named after Grant Robertson. There'll be Robertson Ave. There'll be Robertson Street. There will be Robertson Crescent. And if you're lucky, you might actually get Robertson Drive. And so they'll all be the same name for all the streets. Then all the houses will be the same. All these houses will look the same. They will all look the same. They will all be built the same way. They'll all have the same colours. They'll all have the same letterbox. In fact, New Zealand First might need 2 letterboxes on some of these, but they will have letterboxes that are the same. And then they will, and if you're lucky, you might get a garage. But under the Green Party won't let you have a garage because they think you should be on public transport. So you won't need a garage. So under the Labor Party Green New Zealand First housing policy, it will be state-run. The state knows best. 60 members in this room that have been elected, some of them not actually even won a seat, know better than the rest of the New Zealand public, they know better than the New Zealand market, know better than all the builders.
Order. The member resume his seat. I remind members on my left that when they are making interjections, they should be from their own previous party speaker, rare, reasonable and, if possible, hopefully, witty. To maintain a barrage against a member who has the call is not in keeping with good order in this House.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and that's a reflection of the great speaker we have in the House today that understands that this is just a tactic from the left that realise they've lost the debate and so try and barrage the speakers at that time. But let's go back to KiwiBuild. So you're going to have the same house. Everybody's going to be the same. We might as well all have the same job. Yeah? And that's the way the Labor Party operates because the state knows best. These people that are union-dominated know better than the individuals. They know better than the market. It is communism, and that is exactly what Phil Twyford wants. It's actually better than communism. Under the New Zealand First housing policy, they would actually buy off the land off the developers and then develop it. So it is actually better than communism under the New Zealand First approach. Pardon? You'll have red lights. You wouldn't have red lights. Oh, no red lights in the New Zealand First. This is the same party that doesn't want to build Puhoi to Wellsford. I have you mention that. They are the same party that stood up in the election campaign not looking after the people of Northland. So,
point of order, Phil Twyford.
We're all in favour of a broad-ranging debate, but this member hasn't actually mentioned the bill, and I think he's halfway through his speaking time.
Well, of course, the Speaker is the judge of that and is monitoring closely, as I'm sure you're aware. Mr Bennett, no doubt, will take your point of order to heart as well. Please continue.
Yes, Mr Speaker, this is the Taxation Kiwisaver Remedial Matters Bill, and a big part of that is that the ability for first homeowners to be able to get those tax credits, and that's why we have been talking about housing in this debate. So that is a big part of the bill. And but going back to that housing policy, because this is the debate that Labor's made it into, and so KiwiBuild, somehow they're going to find a way to build these 30,000 houses in a very short period of time. Somehow somehow they're going to, on top of what the private market's doing, well, there will be no private market under the Labor policy. Are you going to be out there, Mr Twyford, building a home? I'd like to see that. Oh, yeah. I'm sure that Mr Stoner could swing a hammer better than... But, Mr Speaker, seriously, the choice that you have in this, in the market that is on one side, there is the Labor Green New Zealand First policy, which is a state-dominated, state-built, state-delivered and state-failed policy around housing. On the other side, we have a range of options available. We have our state housing, we have our private market, we encourage people to save and get ahead. We create an economy that enables New Zealanders to have the lowest interest rates they've had for 50 years. 6% interest rates compared with 11% interest rates. Even if you got a free house under the Labor policy, they would still make you pay 11% interest rates because the economy would be in shambles under that side. Under this side, we have a strong economic base which enables New Zealanders to pay low interest rates, which enables New Zealanders to get on the home ownership value and enables New Zealanders to actually take advantage of their opportunities. And that's a solid economic base from which to go for. And this bill is a small bill. There's no doubt about that. It is a small bill. But it has become a debate that is wider around housing policy. And on one side, the Labor Party has not given up their state-owned, state-run, state-built, state-delivered housing policy. On the other side of the debate, New Zealanders have a choice between an operation that is a mix of state, is a mix of private, is a mix of development, and is a mix where New Zealanders have the ability to pay for their own housing, which is what they want in the long term, because that's what all New Zealanders have ever wanted, and that's to be able to get ahead on their own steam and not have it given to them by somebody else. Did you say something? Lowest ownership rate in the 60 years. Well, that member would like to see the interest rates under the Labor Party, which was 11%, compared with the 6% now, and that housing prices went up 96% under the 9 years of the Labor. 96% in Auckland under Labor. They went up about 20-odd% under the years to 2014 under National, 96% under Labor. Remember those figures. Those were the days of economic growth. Oh, that's right. Labor put us in recession before the rest of the world. Remember that? Remember those days? Oh, 25% real economic growth. No way. New Zealand was in recession before the rest of the world. That is the Labor Party. Because that's what happens when you do state-dominated, state building, state construction of state housing for everybody. The Labor Party do not want to see New Zealanders succeed. They do not want to see people get ahead and buy their own home. They do not want to see New Zealanders pay off their own mortgages. They don't want to see New Zealanders be able to show that to the next generation of New Zealanders that you can actually make a go of it and you can actually deliver. And that is what this bill has now become about. It's become a debate between housing policy. On one side, you've got a housing policy that 60 people think they can deliver. On the other side, you've got a housing policy that is a mix of the market, a mix of the state, and a mix of delivery. And this bill enables New Zealanders to take their share in that process by giving them that tax credit so that they can use it for purchasing of their first home. And I know to my constituents in Hamilton, Mr Speaker, we do see a large number of growth in new housing, and that's a testament to the great investment in our city by this government. But it also shows the hard work and dedication of our people to wanting to get ahead. And they understand what a low interest rate environment means. They understand what it means to have a good job, and they're getting that under this government. And they understand what it means to have strong economic management that enables them to take advantage of their opportunities to get on that home ownership ladder and to be successful. And Mr Speaker, this is a bill which we anticipate there will be support amongst the House, but it has become a debate around housing supply and housing policy, and it's very sad to see the Labor Party sticks to its very strict communist ways of how to deliver that housing, when everybody knows that those days are gone, well and truly gone and buried. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.